We are Forestry!
And this is the UPLB-CFNR channel.
Welcome back to another episode of Silbi-Culture. For today, our expert who will answer the question is Dr. Victor Cruz. Dr. Rex is a professor at the Institute of Renewable Natural Resources, College of Forestry and Natural Resources, UPLB, and he specializes in watershed management, climate change, and land use planning. Our question for today is from Mr. Alberto Calinghasan. What do you recommend a solution right now that we have a global warming, excluding the solutions that the government have been doing already?
Okay, thank you very much, Christian. Now, pilitin kong sagutin ng malinaw at maikli yung katanungan, no, tungkol sa ano bang pwede nating gawin, no, sa gitna ng global warming, no? So what can we do? What can we do siguro individually and as a community, you know? But there are many things that we can do. But anyway, let me just begin by saying that global warming, you know, is the root of a problem, you know, which we call climate change, no? So as a problem that we need to solve, you know, global warming is actually more of the driver, you know, of the more popular problem that we are coping with now, and that is climate change. But nonetheless, ang tanong is how do we respond? No, how do we respond to global warming, you know, and side by side with climate change? Because we know that because of global warming, the global climate system is changing, you know, and more prominently, we're seeing that the rainfall pattern and rainfall variability are changing over time, and so with the temperature patterns, you know, that are changing as well. When temperature changes, rain pattern will change, and even other related temperature-driven natural process such as cyclone formation, or dito mas popular sa atin yung typhoon, or tropical storm generation. Yan ay nagiging mas intense, you know, as the temperature increases. It will increase the sea surface temperature, and when that happens, yung generation ng mga tropical cyclone or typhoon sa atin, you know, ay sumisidhi, you know, lalong nagiging intense. Not necessarily increasing in frequency, pero ang mas sigurado ay mag-i-increase or nag-i-increase ang intensity, you know, yung lakas nito. Kaya nga meron tayo ngayong typhoon signal number 5, no? Dati 4, dati ang alam ko lang nung lumalaki ko hanggang signal number 3 lang, no? Eh ngayon hanggang signal number 5 na tayo. No, so lumalakas talaga, and that is because of increasing temperature due to global warming. And then alam naman natin ang global warming is caused primarily by greenhouse gas emissions, no? And we know that greenhouse gas emissions are coming from mainly yung greenhouse gas emissions caused by human activities ay ang dahil yan sa burning of fossil fuels, no? Yung mga fossil fuels and its product derivatives, no? Gasolina, diesel, langis, you know, these are all part of the major source of greenhouse gas, you know, which we call fossil fuel. Okay, and then of course a large part of greenhouse gas emission, which is between 20–30%, no, ng total global emission, ay attributed to land use change, you know. land use change, yan ay kasama na diyan yung pagbabago sa forest cover natin, yung pagkawala, pagkaubos ng kagubatan, yan ay malaking bahagi ng greenhouse gas emission. Hindi ko na explain yan ng in-depth, kasi hindi naman yan ang gusto nating sagutin ngayon, but gusto ko lang na establish, kung ano yung batayan ng ating mga dapat gawin. So forest deforestation is one. Loss of forest cover, is a large contributor also to greenhouse gas emission, and so with soil erosion, and that relates to improper soil management, improper soil utilization, that also contributes to greenhouse gas emission. And so with agriculture, ang agriculture, malaki din ang contribution yan sa greenhouse gas emission. And kasama dyan yung soil erosion caused by agriculture, kasama dyan yung flooded agriculture, which is basically yung rice rice farming systems, kasi yan nag-i-emit sila ng methane gas, and then of course yung burning ng mga agricultural residues, which is still very common in developing countries. That also contributes a lot to greenhouse gas emission. And so with the use of some of the inorganic fertilizers and other inorganic inputs, that require a lot of energy, to be able to produce them. So ito yung pinanggagalingan, ito yung pinanggagalingan ng ating problema ng global warming, burning of fossil fuels, sobrang paggamit ng mga fossil fuel products, gasolina, etc. And that relates to transportation, transportation facilities, that relates to manufacturing industries, and so on. And then deforestation, as I said, and then improper use of the land, improper use of the soil, agriculture. These are the sources. Now, question, why do we need to cope? Ano bang dapat gawin? Siyempre, yung tanong na sinabi ng galing sa ating tagapanood at tagapakinig, ay ano pwede natin gawin? Yun ay dahilan sa may problema talaga yung global warming. Nagkukos ng climate change and gumagawa ng iba pang mga seryosong problema, kagaya nga ng more intensified tropical cyclones, And alam natin, pag malakas ang bagyo, maraming nasasalanta, maraming nasisira, maraming namamatay, maraming binabaha, maraming gumuguho ang lupa. All those are big problems, that we're trying to cope with. Although hindi naman siya araw-araw, Yan naman ay mga extreme events na manaka-naka lang na ating hinaharap, Subalit pag tumama, yan talagang malakas. But anyway, merong problema din ng climate change in terms of yung mga tinatawag nating mga slow creeping, o yung creeping, creeping impacts of climate change. Hindi ito yung katulad ng bagyo na pangmadalian o pangmabilisan, pero meron ding pangmabagal na pagbabago or mabagal na problema na associated with climate change, especially increasing temperature, kasama na diyan ang pagbaba ng productivity ng iba-ibang agriculture crops. Hindi lahat ng agriculture crops mababa ang production because of increasing temperature, and changing rainfall patterns. Meron namang nagbe-benefit din. But ito yung mga problema, and then outbreaks of pests and diseases. Yan ang isa sa mga prominenteng recent findings ng IPCC. Okay? So mga problema yan. Of course, yung mga temperature and moisture related na mga disease outbreaks, both gawa sa mga halaman and gawa din sa mga tao, So yan ay dumadami din ngayon. So ito yung mga problema na kinakaharap natin. So ang tanong is, how do we now respond to global warming, and gustong expand kasama ng climate change? Well, dalawa ang pwede natin gawin, And siguro familiar na ang karamihan sa atin dito. One is yung climate change mitigation. Climate change mitigation ay is a measure or is the response, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Binabawasan natin yung greenhouse gas emissions para hindi na madagdagan pa yung greenhouse gases sa atmosphere that causes global warming and climate change. So yan, pagbabawas ng greenhouse gas emissions. So paano tayo magbabawas ng greenhouse gas emissions? On a personal level, gumamit tayo ng mga produktong galing sa forest ng mayroong conservation in mind, no? Hindi tayo, we're not we're not careless, with the way we use forest products such as paper and wood products, kasi the more we use of them, the more we need to cut trees and the more we deforest, But of course, pag maganda naman ang paggamit ng forest at pagputol ng forest, maganda rin naman ang restoration nito, ang regeneration niyan, di problema. Pero nagiging problema yan pag sobra-sobra ang deforestation at saka hindi maprotektahan yung natural regeneration, and that is a problem. Of course, marami na tayong open land, marami na tayong degraded forest lands. Ang isa talaga sa pinakamalaking magagawa natin is reforestation. Reforestation, and include na natin dyan ang agroforestry at saka tree plantation development. Kaya napakahalaga ng National Greening Program. But ang kailangan lang gawin dito is ayusin yung implementation ng National Greening Program. Kasi isa ito talaga sa pinakamalaking magagawa natin, both to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but at the same time also alam natin makakatulong din yan sa pagbabawas ng mga problema, hindi to solve the problem of flooding and landslide, kasi hindi natin mapipigilan yan pag malakas na ulan, but mababawasan ang kapinsalaan nitong mga ito kapag maganda ang ating forest. So there you go. Gumamit tayo ng forest wisely, forest products wisely, and then let's help in forest protection, reforestation, and help out in this activity, because malaki matutulong yan. Now, pagdating naman sa climate change, and its adverse impacts, ang response naman natin doon ay tinatawag na climate change adaptation. We're trying to adapt. Nag-a-adapt tayo sa pabago-bagong klima at sa mga masasamang epekto nito na dulot sa atin. So, yan, napakalawak na yan. Marami na tayong pwedeng gawin dyan kasi ang climate change ay naapektuhan halos ang lahat ng aspeto ng ating buhay. Health, transportation, agriculture, it affects our water resources, and many things, biodiversity. Okay, so lahat ng ito naapektuhan ng climate change, and lahat tayo may magagawa in that respect, because one way or another, lahat tayo ay may kinalaman sa tubig, lahat tayo may kinalaman sa public health, sa kalusugan ng publiko, lahat tayo ay may kinalaman sa transportation, So itong mga ito ay mga pwede nating tugunan, yung impact ng climate change sa pamamagitan ng ng mga tamang pamamaraan, halimbawa tamang pamamaraan ng paggamit ng tubig, So wag tayong masyadong maaksaya sa paggamit ng tubig, Wag tayong maaksaya sa paggamit ng energy, ng mga kuryente, because these are all going to add up and help us cope with climate change, And then we should as much as possible, try to help out, especially yung mga mahihirap. This is something probably that iniisip natin na gobyerno lang ang pwedeng magbigay ng solusyon dito, pero on an individual level tayo pwede rin tayong tumulong sa mga nangangailangan, mga mahihirap, nang sa ganon ay umangat naman ang kanilang buhay. Kasi pag umangat ang buhay ng mga mahihirap, sila ay magkakaroon sila ng kakayahan na maka-adapt sa climate change. Kasi ang mahihirap, pag tinamaan niya ng climate change, ng malakas na bagyo, wala silang kakayahan para bumangon, At wala din silang kakayahan para umiwas, Para umiwas sa baha, para umiwas sa mga landslide prone areas, Kasi wala naman silang ibang pupuntahan, wala silang mabibiling lupa na ligtas sa mga sakuna na ito, na may pinapalala ng climate change. So, mga bagay na magagawa natin 'yan, at marami pang mga solusyon na pwede nating magawa sa ating mga problema. Ang kinakailangan din lang natin is makialam din tayo, Makialam din tayo. By the way, isa pang very common na pwede nating gawin as individual citizen, no, yung mag-participate tayo sa proper waste management, both wastewater and solid waste management, no. Yan ay nakakatulong sa greenhouse gas mitigation or greenhouse gas reduction, no, in greenhouse gas emission reduction. But at the same time also it helps us, no, it helps us adapt to better climate change, no. Halimbawa, yung reduction ng pollution ng tubig helps the natural ecosystems, no, helps the aquatic ecosystems, it helps the river ecosystems and the coastal and marine ecosystems to be able to cope with the change of climate, you know, by being unsaddled with the stress coming from water pollution, no. So kumbaga, you know, alisin mo yung water pollution sa tubig, then yung ecosystem na yon will be in a better shape and better ability to cope with climate change. Parang tao yan eh, no. Ang tao, bigyan mo ng pollution, magkakasakit yan eh, no. Pag nagkasakit tayo, ang katawan natin mahina na, hindi na siya gaanong malakas mag-adapt sa climate change, no, sa pagbabago ng climate change. So ganon din yung nangyayari sa mga natural systems natin, mga ecosystems natin, no. So malaki matutulong natin doon, no, by proper solid waste management and also management ng ating mga wastewater. So Christian, ang dami nito eh, no? Pwede kong ubusin ng 1 oras dito eh. Hindi ko alam kung gaano katagal ang kasagutan na gusto nyong marinig po at sa akin, no? Pero siguro yung mga interesado, kung gusto niyo pang matuto ng maraming bagay tungkol dito sa climate change at kung paano tayo makaka-responde ng tama, no, pwede naman kayo makipag-ugnayan sa aming institute, no, sa Institute of Renewable Natural Resources. At marami kaming iba't ibang experts dito, mga eksperto, no, sa kanya-kanyang mga larangan na makakatugon sa mga maraming katanungan natin tungkol sa climate change at global warming. Kasi after all, ang global warming and climate change is a universal global problem that basically affects everyone and everything.